And this video is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only is it safe, but it is secure and Deke, it is reliable. We need reliability in this world, baby.
Man, definitely.
Got to be reliable, man. And for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, what are they waiting on?
I'm really not sure.
Like, Deke, it's Super WildCard weekend. What are they waiting on?
I don't know. First time we got the extra games.
Come on, man. Take advantage of it. Use the promo code, download the app, and get this opportunity to make a little money. But yeah, it's a big time opportunity for the Steelers. Like I said, have not won a playoff game since 2016. This is their first appearance since 2017. So, man, this is a big opportunity. And for some of these guys, a good amount of them, actually, this is going to be their first playoff opportunity as well, man. The guys who were on the team in 17, you have Ben, you have Pouncey DeCastro, Juju. But yeah, Juju was a baby then. TJ Watt was a baby.
Was Hayden on the team?
Yes, that was Hayden's first year with
21.
us. Yeah. So let's see. Those are 6. And then was James Conner, but he was hurt then.
Yeah. Because Bell was the guy.
Yeah, Bell was still the guy. And but James was on IR, and then that's what I'm saying. He wasn't even around at that part of the year when we were getting ready for the playoffs and stuff like that. So that's why I'm just going through this list of who else was up there. We said Vince already. No Edmonds, no Minka. Was Tuitt available then in 2017? I would have to look. I don't know if he was hurt or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that was around that time where he was still missing time with the injuries and stuff. So I'm not sure. But not a lot of guys on that roster with playoff experience compared to doing that run of 14 to 17 where you had literally everybody up there going back to back or 4 times in a row. It was a lot more playoff experience. So I am going to be interested to see how these younger receivers, especially how they respond in this one, because for Juju, we talked about, you said Juju, he played in the playoffs, but in that Jaguars game, his impact, he didn't have a lot of impact.
I remember a lot of AB and Martavis.
That was it. He might have had a couple of catches, but nothing significant. I'm sure we could pull it up at some point, but
watch, he has a touchdown or something.
No.
No, you don't got to pull it up. I'm just saying it'd be funny.
I'm about to say, I'm almost certain on this thing, man, but because what I'm alluding to is he doesn't have that playoff experience that, people would naturally think you would have being a Steelers wide receiver, right?
What are you thinking? Over under 50 yards?
I think it was 20.
You're saying 20?
I'm thinking it's around 20.
You know what? I'm saying over. What's your over under though? Like, what's the mark? Are we saying over under like 40?
You could say, we could say 40.
40.
Over under 40.
I'll take the over.
I'm taking the under.
Okay.
All right, so let's pull this thing up.
I'm saying 4 receptions.
All right. Let's see. Playoff stats. Let's get to 1 playoff game, full playoff game log.
I'm actually really excited for this.
All right. Are you ready for this? In 2017, Jacksonville Jaguars, at the age of 21 years old, 5 targets, 3 catches, 5 yards.
No way.
Averaged 1.67 yards per catch, but he did have a touchdown, though. So you were right on that.
Okay.
He did have a touchdown. Yes. And he had a kick return for 23 yards.
So it really was all AB Martavis. Bell was featured in the passing game.
Le'Veon caught the touchdown on Telvin Smith in the end zone. Okay. That was like the big deal on that play. Yeah, absolutely. But
so who was I don't even remember who our 4th receiver was.
It wasn't Wheaton. No.
Was it Hayward Bay?
Well, we were using Hayward Bay, but I'm trying to think, was Wheaton still on the team?
No.
We're talking 17.
No, Wheaton was on the team.
When did he leave then?
It
wasn't that much further. I know for a fact it was multiple years together.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, it was like the year or 2 prior to that.
Let's see.
Because we had Coates too.
So 17 was his first year gone.
Okay.
Went to Chicago. That was his first year gone. So that was the year. Yeah. So it had to been a combination of Sammy Coates, Darius Hayward Bay during that time frame. Then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that receiving core, dude.
Oh, it was filthy.
That's something I look back on. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it was filthy, bro. But not a lot of playoff experience with any of those guys. And as we even heard with Juju, even, less impactful than we even thought. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to that, because those are going to be the guys that provide that wave. Those are going to be the guys that have to provide that spark, that splash to make this offense move. We talked about this offense this year. They're predicated on the big plays, right? We said they don't give you a lot of these long drives where they're methodical running the ball and stuff like that. They move the ball on the deep shots. We saw last week with Mason Rudolph, they were able to capitalize on that. So we're going to need to see them respond in a big time way in a prime time matchup the last playoff matchup of the wild card round. Like, all eyes are going to be on them. How do they respond to that? Is the moment going to be too big for them, or are they going to thrive in it? So that's going to be the big question, because like I said, the offense is going to be based on them. Ben can do what he does, but if they're not catching the ball, if they're not getting open, it's not going to matter. Like, they got to ball out. It's that simple. And they have the best matchup too.
I was going to say, they definitely have the advantage.
They have the best matchup right now, man. With the between COVID, injuries, the Browns secondary is bad right now. It's bad. And then you talk about, okay, if you got a bad secondary, how do you combat that? Give me a great pass rush. They just lost Olivier Vernon, who was, I think he had 9 or 10 sacks this year. So he's right in that same vein, but you lose him. Myles Garrett is still dealing with the COVID stuff. He's already been very vocal about that as well. When you throw that combination in there, it's setting up bad for those DBs and making it look really good for our wide receivers. So knowing what they did last week and the things that we just talked about right there, I'm really excited to see them, because if they can respond, they can do something special and really get this run started.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about running towards James Conner, but like this playoff run started. But they got to provide that wave, man. We're going to be leaning on them heavy.
Yeah, and to even top it off, you talk about the injuries or COVID list and stuff. Denzel Ward, and then their other, I think he's like, I don't know, he plays a decent amount of snaps. Kevin Johnson, they're on this COVID list. There's some uncertainty there if they're going to come back or not. I know they didn't play in last game, but if they don't come back in this game, we get Ben back, dude, it'd be nice. It could be really nice for us.
And I probably should look this thing up again. But with Denzel, because he was a positive COVID, I feel like he's in the same boat as Joe Hayden. That's why
they just haven't officially cleared him yet.
Correct. So that's why they're like that. Whereas with guys like Eric Ebron and Cassius Marsh, they got back activated today, was because they were only close contact. So as a close contact, your isolation period is a lot shorter than an actual positive. So I don't anticipate Denzel Ward being back out there unless something changes, similar with Joe Hayden. We talked about that as well. Unless something changes from a testing standpoint, they're not going to be available. But for us, that loss isn't as bad compared to with those guys with the injuries they already have on that back end. That is huge. That's a huge loss for them right there, man. But that's why we're talking about this matchup and why the wide receivers, man, is so much riding on them, because they have to provide, that has to be the mismatch, and they have to take advantage of it, because in their Browns front seven, they still have enough guys in there to cause a little bit of trouble. You know, they can still do that. And we saw it show up a little bit last week. So to me, I just feel like, man, when you have as glaring of a weakness in their secondary as they have, and these receivers who are coming off one of their best games of the season, you got to go back to that well. Until they prove otherwise, I feel like you got to go back to it, man.
Well, it's weird because we have the past 3 or 4 game sample of the offense being so, some drops, just some calamity on offense. But it's that Colts game, that second half, where you're like, damn, dude. And actually, even last game against the Browns, with some of the stuff we were doing in the offense and in the passing game. That's really it. Can we see more of that in this game and going forward in the playoffs? Because I think you're right. We have the talent at receiver. We have the quarterback in Big Ben. We have all the recipe there. I mean, the running game
reminded me of something too when you talked about the game last week.
What?
Keep going. I got you. I'm gonna drop it to you in a second.
Okay, but yeah, I guess the main concern is the running game then, and I guess too, back to what I was saying about the past 3 or 4 games. What are we going to see more of? I'm hoping that second half of Colts and even in that Browns game and for most of the season, how we were able to move the ball with the short passing game and some of the passes. That's what I'm hoping for. So I think this is a good matchup as our first game.
I agree.
To get that going. You don't want to overlook anything, but maybe we could get some momentum here. And that's what
you need it, man.
And that's what we talk about. You want to be hot going into the playoffs. And even though right now our hot is a little shorter than what you would maybe like,
it's hot enough.
Yeah, exactly. You got a little spark. And maybe that spark is going to hit, and we're going to be hitting our stride here at the right time.
Absolutely.